Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to AJ112 Introduction to Criminology. My name is Tony Farrar, and I will be your instructor for this semester. A little bit about myself. I have over 34 years of law enforcement experience, retiring in December of 2015 as the Chief of Police for the City of Rialto Police Department in San Bernardino County, California. My education consists of a master's degree in police administration, a master's degree in business administration, and a master's degree in criminology and police management from the University of Cambridge Institute of Criminology in, of course, Cambridge, England. And we'll talk more about attending college in the UK. It was a very interesting but really cool experience. And again, we'll talk more about that as we go throughout the semester. But this morning's lecture is going to cover the syllabus review. Now, it's important to remember that this course check-in consists of two parts: the discussion board check-in and the syllabus quiz. And you'll find all of that information in week one, which is the orientation module. And I'll actually show you what that looks like when we're done with the lecture. We'll go into the Canvas shell and you'll be able to see what it looks like, and that will help you as far as navigating around. But again, it's important that you understand that you complete both parts of the check-in and you also walk through or read or go through the entire orientation module, which encompasses the check-in and the syllabus quiz. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this morning's syllabus review. So follow along if you would, and I hope you are. Again, this is AJ112, Introduction to Criminology. The section number is 3519. We are, of course, in the fall 2020 semester, and this is the online version of the course. Next, I have my instructor contact information. I am located on the Menifee campus. I have my office number, my email, and my Twitter information available, as you can see. And I also have links to two different websites that I think you will find informative. The first is a link to the MSJC Criminal Justice Club Facebook page. And this is a group of students that get together either weekly or bi-weekly and talk about issues in criminal justice. They receive some additional training. A lot of times we'll have some guest speakers come in, or we'll do some fun tours, like we'll go to the coroner's office or to the local jail, to the local courthouse, etc. Or we just talk about how to get a job in criminal justice. So a lot of neat things that we do. If you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can go to their Facebook page and you can check that out and see if you want to become a member of that club. Next, I have the Career Ed website. So if you need any additional information on law enforcement or criminal justice as a career, or that pathway, or even if your career desires are outside of criminal justice, this website will help you as it relates to career education. And there's also information to where you can contact counselors and again see those pathways that'll help you achieve whatever goal it is you're trying to achieve as it relates to career education. So next, I have my office hours. Again, I'm on the Menifee campus. My office is in the 3000 building. Actually, it's 3003. You can see I have posted my on-campus office hours, and I also have online office hours. So typically that will be Wednesday evening from 6 to 7 p.m. in Professor Farrar's meeting room. It's actually a Zoom chat room that you can just log into, and I will be available to answer any questions, go over any topic, whether it's from this class or a different class. It really doesn't make a difference, but I want to make myself available to you so you can pop in and we can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. I am also available at other times by appointment, so you can make an appointment with me, or you can call me, or you can text me, etc. So whatever you want to do, I'm here to support you in any way I can. Now, with that being said, understand that email is the best way to get in touch with me. If you do email me, please place AJ112 3519 Introduction to Criminology and your name, it can be your last name, in the subject line of the email. So I have an example using my own information. So I put my last name first for our AJ112 3519 Introduction to Criminology. And the reason for this is that because I teach several classes, this is the best way to make sure that I know exactly who you are and what class you are in. And that will help me get the information that you want a lot quicker. So that would definitely help me out. Now, all emails should be from your MSJC email account. Please do not use your personal account. And if you are requested to submit a written assignment in Canvas, and you will be, so please note this, please submit the written assignment in Microsoft Word. If you send or upload the document in another word processor format like WordPerfect or WordPad, or you run it through a third-party software system like Google Docs, there's no guarantee that I'm going to be able to open it or read it. And if I can't open it, I can't read it. And if I can't read it, I can't grade it and give you credit for it. So please, that will make everybody's life a lot easier. And if you have any problems with any of that, don't hesitate to let me know, and we'll figure out how to deal with it. So it's not that big of an issue. We can always find a workaround. And finally, if you don't know how to set up your email, or you need some other tech help, you can come to me first if you want to. And if I can't solve your problem, I would highly suggest that you contact the college help desk for assistance. Okay, and now we're at the bottom of the page right here. Please note that the syllabus is kind of how I like to call it, a living document, meaning that it is subject to change during the semester. Now, I typically don't like to change anything, but sometimes there is a need to add something or reduce something or substitute something or just make a change. And if I do make a change, you will be notified immediately in the form of an email or an announcement via Canvas. But again, if you have any questions about the course at all, you can either email me direct, and I'm pretty good with email, and I'll get back to you easily within probably 24 hours, but way sooner than that. Or you can post the question in the general discussion board area, and I'll show you where that's at in just a little bit. That area is called the Donut Shop. Yeah, go figure. But that's a place where you can post any type of general questions, and I monitor that, so I will either jump on and answer it, or maybe even another student might pop on there and answer it as well. So you have a couple of options available to you. So with that being said, what is this class, this Introduction to Criminology? Well, first of all, it is my favorite class. Why? Because I went to school for it. But besides that, the course or this course is the study of crime in America, which is interesting just in itself. We could probably stop there. But it includes theories of the causes of criminal behavior. So what are some of the theories on why people do what they do? The nature of crime, the extent of crime, how do you control it, the control of crime, and even the prevention of crime. And that's just super interesting. It also focuses on the person and the group and different criminal behavior systems. Also, police or law enforcement behavioral responses to criminal activity and its nature and causes. So criminology is a cool study about why people do stuff. It's super interesting. So I hope that you'll enjoy this class. I really think that you're going to, and I think we're going to have a great time. Next up would be the department's or the program's learning outcomes for the Administration of Justice and Corrections program. I also have listed the course learning outcomes for this class along with the course learning objectives. Now, I'm not going to go through each one of these individually. I will let you look at them at your leisure because I want to move on to the textbook. So the book we are going to be using for this semester is Criminology, the Core. It's the 7th edition. It is a Cengage book, and the author is Larry Siegel, and this is a really, really informative, good book. And I want to give you the 1-minute pitch on the book. When you talk about criminology, there's a lot of theories and a lot of key terms and a lot of definitions and a lot of applications and a lot of information. That's really one reason to have the book. The next reason is because there is so much information for me to pass on. I really can't get through every single thing in every chapter. So what I'm asking you to do is if you have the book, then you're able to fill in the gaps. Those things that I really can't get to, you'll be able to read and catch up on. And then finally, you'll be able to use the information in the textbook, the reading in the chapters, to help add some context to what it is that we are covering every week. So that's my pitch for the book, and I would really, really suggest in a class like this that you definitely have the textbook. Now, along with that, I have listed in here the California Penal Code. Now, this is not a primary textbook, but we will be referring to this book from time to time. And if you don't know, every state has their own penal code, which is penal meaning laws. So there needs to be a book that has the code section for the laws, the elements of the different types of crimes that are applicable to the laws, and then the penalties that are applicable to all of that. And California has the California Penal Code. Texas has the Texas Penal Code, etc. So if you have a penal code, hey, that's great. If you don't, that's okay, because you can access all of the information that you need online. So I have a link to a website called legalinfo.gov, and that will take you to a web page that has every California code. So no need for the penal code. You can access the information right here. So more importantly now, let's talk about the course check-in. I briefly spoke about it, but I really want to make sure that we have an understanding on how this gets done. So the course will open on Monday, August 17th at 8 a.m. Please make sure to check in using the discussion board or discussion board number 1 as your official check-in for the class. But now don't forget, as part of that check-in procedure, you also need to complete a short 10-question syllabus quiz. It's both parts. With that being said, you have until Sunday, August 23rd at 11 p.m. to complete that process. But part of that process, that week 1 process, from the 17th to the 23rd is going through the week 1, that whole orientation module. And I'm going to show you what it looks like at the end of the lecture. Finally, failure to complete the check-in process is going to result in you being dropped from the class. Typically, this class fills very quickly, and because of that, if you don't complete both of those parts, you will be dropped from the class in order to make room for someone else. So please make sure that you complete both parts of the course check-in. Okay, so a little bit more on the course. This is a somewhat fast-paced class with a lot of reading. There is some reading, you guys, and I know not everybody likes to read. Hopefully you do, but there's a lot of reading and information that I'm going to provide to you every week. So because of that, you need to keep up with the reading. Don't simply rely on the PowerPoint lectures to get through the class. This is not the class to do this in. Now, some of the legal terms or the theory terms, etc., might be a little bit difficult to understand at first because maybe you don't know them. Therefore, you need to read the textbook chapters, another pitch for the book, carefully to fully understand the terms, theories, etc., and to also add some context to the subject matter. And in some cases, you might even have to look up a word or a term on the internet or in the penal code or in a law dictionary. But if you have a problem with any concept, you just don't understand something, let me know and I will discuss it in Canvas in the general discussion area. Remember the donut shop? I know it's a cool name, isn't it? Or I will send out an email announcement blast, or maybe we can even discuss it at our Zoom meetings that we'll have. And we won't have them every week, but when we have them, we can actually discuss them, or if we need a special Zoom meeting to do that. So again, this isn't an easy class. I want to let you know up front. It does require some work. Matter of fact, a lot of work on your part to do well. However, this class is going to be very rewarding from all of the knowledge that you're going to gain. I mean, how cool is it to talk about why people do things? It's actually a pretty exciting concept, and I can't wait to get started with the class. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about some expectations for this course. So students are going to, you're going to participate and complete a variety of activities that are going to achieve those learning objectives that we looked at earlier in the syllabus. But we're going to go through each one of these individually. So these are some expectations that I have of you. The first one is reading the required materials. That means reviewing the PowerPoints, reading the lecture notes, reading the articles, and yes, I know, the textbook chapters. Number 2, viewing the weekly videos that relate to each chapter, and that includes the PowerPoint video lectures and the case study videos and the introductory videos that come with each chapter. Number 3, participating in thoughtful and timely discussions via the discussion board. And we're going to talk a little bit more on discussions in a couple minutes. Number 4, completing the online matching assessment exercise. Remember, these are every week in those weekly modules, you will find a matching exercise, and this is going to help you learn or better understand the key terms, and it's a non-graded assignment. It's like a practice quiz, kind of. And on the left-hand side will be the terms, and on the right-hand side will be the definition, and you match them up, and that will help you learn things a lot quicker. Number 5, completing the online and timed quizzes. Number 6, completing the online and timed exams. Number 7, completing the case study. And then finally, number 8, completing the midterm writing assignment. One thing of note, failure to participate in the discussion boards or missing quizzes or exams or failing to turn in assignments or missing a combination of any of these activities may be cause for you to be dropped from the course. So please set time aside during the week to get your work done. And again, I'll show you what the modules look like, and that might help you visualize things a little bit better. We talked a little bit about synchronous meetings during the semester. We will have several opportunities to meet online via Zoom, and these meetings will be announced in advance and will be opportunities for everybody to talk about things or just see how we're doing or exchange information or ask questions about certain things or cover major topics. Anything that you want, we'll be able to do that, and we'll be able to do that kind of in a group setting. So how do you know that you are ready for an online class? Where one way might be that you've already taken online classes and you feel comfortable. You're all comfy and cozy and you're good to go with online. And maybe you've even taken some of my online classes and you know how the structure and the flow goes. But maybe you haven't. So please make sure that you are ready for online classes. Now, you've already read the course expectations, but you need to make sure that you understand really what is expected of an online student. So I have a couple of helpful links. The first link here is to the MSJC online learning page, and that will take you to the an area that has a lot of good information to help you assess your online readiness. A lot of step-by-step instructions and other information. The next link is to the same page, but to the video tutorial area. So there'll be some videos that will help you kind of walk through maybe how to navigate Canvas, how to assess your readiness for online, and different videos. See, these are two good resources out there. So take a look at those if you think that you need that. Technology responsibility. You are responsible for your computer equipment and internet connection independent of the campus. And what that means is you will need to plan your coursework to be able to accommodate any type of computer issues or problems. So if something happens on the college side, like, excuse me, Canvas goes down, or, oh, I don't know, maybe you can't access your assignments because Canvas goes down or the website goes down or whatever, don't worry about that. We'll take care of that. What I'm asking you to do is have some kind of a backup plan for you should something happen on your end. Now, one other thing I like to throw in there is please, 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 please don't wait until the last minute, because there's a cool phrase or thing out there, and you've probably heard of it before. It's called Murphy's Law, meaning, like, you know, what can go wrong will go wrong at the time that you don't want it to go wrong at. And that's kind of Murphy's Law, kind of like, well, it figures. So again, don't wait until the last minute. Set time aside accordingly during the week so you can get things done, and then you don't have Murphy jump in there at the last second and you're stuck and something happens. So just kind of think about that. Along with that, I have here listed some areas in Canvas that I think you need to be familiar with. So first of all, and we're up here if you're following along, I really think for you to be successful in this class, you need to check your Canvas about probably minimum 2 times per week. And the reason is I need you to look in the areas to make sure that you're informed about any changes. But some areas to focus on, first of all, would be like modules. And the reason we want to focus our attention here is because this is where all your weekly stuff is. So I'm going to title each module, so you're going to know exactly which week the information is for. So an example, Module 1 will be titled, or could be titled, Week 1. Therefore, Week 1 is going to have all of the stuff, the assignments in it that you need to complete Week 1. Does that make sense? And in there will be like the audio lecture, the PowerPoint, the links to videos, the articles, the quizzes, the discussion boards, or anything else you need for that week. And the goal for putting all of that stuff in one folder or one module is for you to be able to find everything each week without having to click all over the place, to go in and out of the folder. So it's a very easy way to keep track of everything. And when we get to the actual Canvas at the end of this lecture, I'll show you how to click through it. And I think you'll find it very easy to follow. Next will be discussions. And this is the area where the group discussions are going to occur on various topics. And remember, as I previously mentioned, there's also going to be a discussion board for general questions, the donut shop. And here I might post things, so keep an eye on that. Like links to videos I want you to watch, or articles that are really cool. And those will be posted in there, so please pay attention to the discussion area. Next would be announcements. And this is important because this is where you're going to find all the announcements for the class, including any changes or any other relevant information. So it could be changes to exams or quizzes or any other upcoming information I want you to know about. Maybe a cool extra credit assignment or an upcoming, I don't know, TV show that might be very interesting for you to watch. Or it might be job opportunities or internship opportunities or career fairs, any cool information like that. So make sure you set up your electronic device to be able to receive that information timely, so that way you're up to date and you know what's going on in the class. The grade book, this is certainly important because that's where your grades are, and you can monitor your grades as they're posted. Your weekly quizzes and your chapter exams, when you take those online, it's graded automatically, so you'll be able to see that. One point of reference that I don't know if I mentioned, I'll say it now so I don't forget it. Your weekly quizzes, you get 2 opportunities to take the quiz, and the system records your highest score. For your chapter exam, you only get 1 shot at that. Do well in the quizzes, and you're going to do awesome on the chapter exams. Okay, and then finally would be extra credit. There is 1 extra credit assignment that's already posted in the syllabus and also posted in Canvas. There may be a couple more as we start to go in the semester. I'll kind of monitor things, but this one's already there. 1 point of reference, though, just note that the extra credit assignment could be date specific. So make sure you check out and read the directions or the instructions so you know when the assignment opens and when it closes, so you can make sure to submit your extra credit within the open time frame, if that makes sense. All right, so how are we going to do all this? So I've said a lot. Well, we're going to do it by the audio lectures, the video lectures, looking at news articles, visual aids, different videos, PowerPoints, the class participation in our group meetings, the class discussion boards, our written assignments, our quizzes, and our exams. And then finally, you are always welcome to attend any of my in-class presentations from any of the guest speakers. A lot of times I might have somebody from crime analysis come in, or a homicide detective, or a profiler, or something like that. And if I have those individuals come into any of my classes, I will make sure that you receive an invitation to that. And sometimes, especially this semester, I might even post videos to these guest speakers, but they'll be doing it online. So they'll be talking and do a quick 30-minute brief or a 45-minute brief on a particular case, and you'll be able to watch that online as well. But I will make sure that you are notified well in advance so you can participate in that. So if you need some help, though, there's some academic support available to all students at the Learning Resource Center at MSJC on the at the San Jacinto campus or at the Menifee campus, and there is help online. There's also counseling help online as far as academic counseling, and the last couple of semesters we have had an AJ tutor, specifically a student that was helping folks out as far as research and formatting and doing some things with their midterm writing assignment and case studies. We hope to have the same this semester. I just don't have the individual's name yet, but as soon as I get that information, I will send that information out to you so you can have it if you want it. The school website, again, here I'm just saying make sure you check your Canvas or check your email at least twice a week for announcements or any other type of information. Note, again, it's your responsibility to monitor Canvas for any assignment changes. Okay, so this isn't a face-to-face class, of course, so when we talk about conduct, we have to talk about code of conduct as it relates to online learning. So the student code of conduct is available in the MSJC catalog, and I certainly encourage everyone to read it. Now, if you don't have one, you can find one in the library, you can find one in the enrollment office, and you can find one online. My big thing for online learning, because we're going to have discussion boards and we are going to meet on Zoom throughout the semester, is to just be professional and be understanding and understand that everybody has different opinions about different things. And our learning mechanism here is to be able to allow people to freely talk about things so we can learn different things and hear different perspectives. And that's the important part about learning. What we don't want to do is be closed-minded about things and not be able and have people not want to give their opinion. How boring would it be if we were all the same? But because we're not, we want to be able to understand different perspectives and perhaps even through that change our own perspective on certain things. So I'm just asking that you be professional, that you be polite. That doesn't mean that you can't disagree with somebody, but I just want it to be I want it to be a learning environment where we all feel comfy about exchanging information. So enough said on that. But if you want more on this, there is an author by the name of Virginia Shea, and she basically has defined kind of what they call netiquette. She's defined it as the etiquette of cyberspace. And in her book called Netiquette, she has available, and I've got a link to her core rules, but she's made a brief summary of her core rules of netiquette available at that website that I have the link here, right here if you're following along. And of course, it's not going to answer all of your questions, but it is going to provide you with some basic principles about solving some different netiquette or online dilemmas. And we all know that with social media, there are certain rules and unwritten rules and things like that. And because I'm a little older, I kind of don't understand that. And many of you probably do. But here, Virginia Shea is kind of helping us define some of those issues. But it's a really cool book if you have a chance to read it. Now, I've also incorporated a couple of other helpful websites. And these websites are going to help you look up different cases or case laws. The first one is Cornell Law, and the second one is SupremeCourt.gov. And as we look at some of these different theories of criminology and different criminals and what they're doing and things like that, we'll look at some different U.S. Supreme Court cases. And we'll learn some terms like case precedent or stare decisis. And as we start to learn these different terms and we start to look up these different cases, these two links to both of these websites will help you as we start to look up some of that information. Okay, so now that let's go to the fun stuff. Well, more fun for me than it is for you probably, but let's talk a little bit about the exams and quizzes. And we're at the bottom of the page if you're following along. So the quiz and exam questions are going to come directly from the textbook, the lecture PowerPoints, the audio video lecture, or the designated articles or videos. And each week, at minimum, you are going to have a reading assignment. Yeah, I know. A reading assignment, a video lecture, the PowerPoint, a short 15-question quiz covering the corresponding chapter, and either a discussion question or topic or what we call a fact or fiction. Now, that's every week. Now, in addition, over the course of the entire semester, there's going to be 3 chapter exams, a midterm writing assignment, and a case study. And don't forget, every week there's going to be that non-graded matching self-evaluation or assessment exercise that covers the key terms that you can take as many times as possible to help you learn some of those key terms. So before we get into the actual grading part and then finally the weekly schedule on how it looks like, let's talk a little bit more in depth about the discussion boards. So discussion boards are typically what I call reflective in nature, meaning that they are meant to make you think about a certain topic or subject. Perhaps research it a little bit because you've thought about it and now you get kind of excited, you want to research it. And to also consider other perspectives and then finally provide a response. So you're going to have a total of 15 discussion boards. You'll have one is the check-in, and then 14 are going to be the fact or fiction topics. They correspond with each chapter. And each discussion board is worth up to 10 points. So when responding to discussion boards, and here we are, make sure you read the information or watch the corresponding video, and then respond with what I like to call a complete, well thought out response. If you want full point credit, your response must be 5 sentences in length. Also, don't just copy somebody else's response and then paste it in yours. The more focused and thought out your response, the more points that you're going to receive. And finally, don't just respond with I agree or similar. Tell me what you think about it. Now, feel free to discuss, or not just to discuss, but to respond or comment on another person's post, another student's post, because this is really how we get the discussion going. And in this instance, you can start off with, hi, so-and-so, or hey, so-and-so, I agree or I disagree, because that's how we're going to get things going. But for your first initial post from you, if you want full credit, it needs to be the 5-sentence post. Make sense? Okay, let's move on. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this, because the same thing is in your Canvas shell, or the class Canvas. We'll look at that. Here's your case study information, and you have a choice of 3 different individuals to do a case study on. In the case study, I actually give you the questions I want you to look at. Now, you can add more if you want, and you can even tweak those questions a little bit if you want, but here's kind of the guideline, and here are some of the case study, I guess, directions. I have here your extra credit assignment. It's basically identifying your favorite serial killer, and this is always a pretty cool one. And here's the directions. And for this one, because it's extra credit, you can write about it, you can do a PowerPoint on it, or you can create a video. And here you can be as creative as you want. And I also give you the questions that I want you to answer, or the things that I want you to cover. Again, here's the directions. It's worth up to 30 points. Again, I might add some more extra credit throughout the semester, but nothing in concrete. So this is the one for sure. But allowing you 3 different formats to do this assignment in means that you can be a little more creative if you want to. And I've had some very creative PowerPoints that I thought were really awesome last semester in this online class. And I even had a video, and it was actually pretty cool. So think about how you want to do that. And I would really suggest that you do the extra credit, because it never hurts to have a buffer, right? I mean, because you never know. All right. So with that said, just kind of a point of reference before we move on. The course follows a weekly modular format. So all the lectures, the PowerPoints, the quizzes, exams, discussion information, and all of that stuff is in those weekly modules or folders, and they open on Monday morning at 8 o'clock. Every week is the same, so it makes it easy to follow. And then all the assignments inside of those modules are due at 11 p.m. on the following Sunday night. So let's look at an example. So our class, this class, officially opens on Monday, August 17th at 8 in the morning. That means you have until the following Sunday, August 23rd at 11 p.m. to do everything in the week 1 module. So it's not just the discussion board check-in and the syllabus quiz, it's going through the week 1 orientation module. There's a lot of good information, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a couple of minutes. Keeping in mind, as a general rule, there are no makeup assignments. The reason for that is it's because you basically have 6 days to complete the assignments in each of those weekly modules. Therefore, it's up to you to get the work done and to set time aside. Now, I understand that things happen, emergencies happen, life happens. I get that. I'm not that closed-minded. I do understand that. So those types of situations will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. And typically the more high profile things are jury duty, military deployment, a verified medical emergency. But again, keep in mind that even though I'm going to send out weekly reminders to the point of annoyance, it is still your responsibility to make time for completing the assignments in the weekly modules. Please, 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 and maybe one more, please, do not wait until the last minute. Now, with that said, some of you by nature are procrastinators, and that's how you function. I get it. My wife is just like that. When she was in college, she would wait till the end, do the assignment, and do great. If you're like that, okay, that's great. If you're not like that, make sure that you set time aside to get all of your work done and plan accordingly. So before we get into the grading, just some last helpful hints. There are three main issues I see with online students that have some problems. First is the inability to keep track of due dates. You need to be able to self-pace and regulate, meaning keeping close track of the assignment due dates and not waiting until the last minute to do your stuff unless that's how you function. Second, thinking that because there are so many little assignments, there's so many discussion boards and weekly quizzes, if I miss a couple, it doesn't really matter. Well, in reality, it does, because missing assignments will start to add up quickly, and before you know it, you're behind. And finally, make sure you set up your electronic devices, whichever one you use the most or whatever one you're going to be doing your work through, to receive notifications of important announcements once they're sent out or posted. And then finally, just kind of take note on the weeks that you have your larger chapter exams, you're still going to be required to do your short quizzes because there's a quiz every week. And the reason there's a quiz every week is to expose you to the chapter content every week. So my final hint is during that particular module, if you have a chapter exam and a chapter quiz, do the quiz first. All right, so how are we going to grade all this stuff? Well, we grade on points, or I grade on points. Here's kind of the grading scale, but you can see the possible points here. Here are your 3 chapter exam. You have your discussion boards. You have 14 chapter discussion boards and your check-in. You have your syllabus quiz, your midterm paper, your chapter quizzes, okay, your case study, and then your total possible points. Now, with that being said, the above point total is subject to change, as sometimes I might add or remove an assignment. I typically don't, but every once in a while, you never know, I might. Quiz or test, or even increase or decrease the number of questions, or I might throw an extra credit thing out there. You just never know. I might go crazy, right? So just keep an eye on that and note that things could change. Also, your final exam is not cumulative, meaning it only covers the chapters assigned. So I'm not going to have in your final, you're not going to have questions from chapter 1 through 5. Does that kind of make sense? So it's only going to be those 4 or 5 chapters that we just previously covered. And that's a better way, I think, to learn some of this stuff. And then again, we already talked about the extra credit assignment. Here I have some important dates. I'll let you look at those at your leisure. If you need any assistance whatsoever, please let me know. Please let me know. And my job is to make you successful in this class. And if there's anything that you need from me, all you have to do is email me and I will make sure that we take care of it. Next is the written assignment for your midterm paper. It's going to be on this wonderful gentleman right here. Actually, he's not wonderful and he's not a gentleman, but the case is extremely cool. All of this information is also in your Canvas, so I'm not going to go through it all, but I just wanted you to see that all the information is here. Finally, on your as it relates to your midterm paper. I'm going to post on Canvas an instructional video on how to write your paper in APA style. The video also has examples on formatting, the cover page, the abstract, the reference page, along with a really cool color-coded step-by-step instruction on how to format your reference page. And it's pretty cool. But anyway, I know that's not that exciting, but it'll be very, very helpful. Okay, and then finally, before we get into the weekly schedule, very quickly, talking about plagiarism, copying even a part of a sentence from a text or a textbook, an article, a news story, or a paper without acknowledging the source or using quotes is plagiarism. Copying just and just changing a word or two is still plagiarism. If you need more information, I have the link to the website plagiarism.com. The best rule of thumb to follow is this one right here. If you didn't think of it yourself or it's not common knowledge, cite it. If in doubt, cite it anyway. And then I have some extra information for you here. All right, so what do the actual weeks look like on a schedule? So here is week 1. So this is the course outline. So we talk about week 1. We know it's going to open at 8 o'clock on the 17th. It's going to close at 11 o'clock on the 23rd. And week 1, here is what you're going to do. You're going to do the orientation module, and you're going to do these 2 assignments right here. Week 2 is going to cover Unit 1 or Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is Crime and Criminology. In this module, you'll have the video lecture, the PowerPoint, the articles, other videos to watch. You'll have the key term assessment. Remember, that's the matching exercise that's not graded. You'll have your weekly quiz and your discussion, your fact or fiction for Chapter 1. You can see week 3 is going to be Unit 2 or Chapter 2. You can see how this starts to form a pattern. Looks exactly the same. Let's go down to a week that has an additional assignment. So if we go to week 6, we're going to be covering Unit 5, which is Chapter 5, and we're going to be talking about trait theory. It's actually a pretty cool chapter. In there is all the videos, the PowerPoints, everything that you need, the matching exercise. Here's the weekly quiz that covers Chapter 5. You have your Chapter 5 discussion, but then you've got an additional assignment. This is your first chapter exam. So when I talked about doing the chapter quiz first, do the quiz and then do the chapter exam. And then I'll go to the next one. I think it's week 11. You can see where you have your second chapter exam. So hopefully this kind of helps you. All right, so now let's take a very quick look at what the Canvas shell looks like. Now, my view is going to be a little bit different than yours, but I'm going to show you mine, and I'm going to scoot this over. It's going to cut off part of the page, but you'll see what I mean. So on your left, when you log into the home page, you should see this. You have your navigation bar here with all of your links. Yours will look a little bit different, and you'll see the start here. Here's a link to the donut shop. You'll come down with a little bit of introduction, a quick cool video, a course description, some reasons why we study criminology, the learning objectives, some instructor info, a picture of me at Cambridge. Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? Anyway, and then a little video on Canvas, on how to navigate Canvas. Now, I want to go to the modules page. So if you click on modules in yours, it won't look exactly like this, but it'll look close. You'll see there's the home page module, the introduction module. This is week 1, and you're going to walk through all of this information because in week 1 has the check-in and the syllabus quiz. I have some other information in little itty-bitty modules, so like the Criminal Justice Club, how to access Zoom, some cool websites, Bill of Rights, the court system. I have a separate module for your writing assignment. I have a separate module for your case study, but I want to go to week 2, which is chapter 1. And you can see you've got you have an overview, an introduction, you have the video lecture, you have the PowerPoint, the key term exercise, the quiz, the fact or fiction, the discussion board. But I want to walk through it to show you what it looks like. So when you log in, and let me scoot this over so you can see the page, it's still going to cut it off, but you'll still be able to see it. You'll see the unit overview. It's got the learning objectives, things you need to know. Then you click on next. And this is how simple it is. It takes you to an introduction, and you'll read the information in the introduction. And here's a link to go to the some of the content I have posted. There's a little video for you to watch, or a couple of videos to watch. And then if you click on next, it'll take you to the video lecture, kind of like what I'm doing right now. It's like me in the classroom, so you'll hear my voice over the top of the PowerPoint. When you're done watching that, you click on next, and it'll take you to just the PowerPoint. So if you don't want to hear my voice, that's fine. You can just watch the PowerPoint. All right, you can go through and just click on that. Next comes the matching exercise. So this is the self-assessment. Remember the key terms exercise. When you're done with that, you click on next, and it takes you to the chapter quiz. When you're done with the quiz, you click on next. Here's your discussion question, and here's all the content, and there's your question. And when you're all done posting all your discussion question, you click on next, and it tells you you've made it. So you can click and just arrow and go through each one of those if you want to. All right, and it makes it really, really simple. But again, going back to the modules, again, just briefly, the modules are broken down to where you can just kind of go through each one. Here's the week 2 module for chapter 1, the week 3 module for chapter 2. And you can see how it's broken down. This is all the introductory, or the stuff that you want to review and study. And then here it says graded assignments. Even though this is not graded, I put it under here. But these are the actual assignments under here. Make sense? All right, so let's go back to the home page. Oh, really quick. Go to discussions. Remember I talked about the donut shop. So we can go here and we click on the donut shop, and this is the open-ended, or the general discussion area, where you can post anything, and either you or another student or anybody else can jump in there, and we can comment or answer your questions, etc. So hopefully that was helpful to look at, and gives you a better visual of what I'm talking about. With that being said, I'll be getting back in touch with you, or you'll be hearing from me, or we'll be meeting up again in either week 1 or week 2, but that information will come out accordingly. But this is going to conclude our syllabus review for AJ112, Introduction to Criminology.